Today we're covering what to eat when you're stressed. And the answer is going to surprise you because the answer is anything. Now, anything. Chocolate, unhealthy foods, high calorie foods, anything, sugar, God, that can't be good. Well, before you judge or assume anything is the wrong answer, let me give you a little bit of background. When you have anything as your mindset, realize it's a temporary mindset. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't want to be gorging on all these unhealthy foods, right? But what anything does is temporarily gives you mental headspace to focus on what really matters. And what really matters is understanding why you are stressed, the benefits of eating, why you stress eat, and then how you actually eat. These factors are much more important than the actual foods you eat. So back in college, I was really socially awkward. And I would feel tremendous stress. I was lonely. I was just, when you don't belong, there's a lot of pressure because you're an outsider. I would go home and eat. And that went on for years. I'd binge eat. I would not eat. I had all these different things going on because I couldn't handle my stress. It was only after I started getting into yoga and meditation and so forth that I realized this stress is because I'm not belonging in a social group. I feel like I'm always on edge. Do I fit in or not? Do I belong here? Is someone gonna almost like reject me? And then after I realized I was carrying around this stress with me and I wanted to avoid that stress, the desire to avoid that feeling of stress and anxiety in my body, that desire was leading me to stress eat. Now, you might already know why you're stressed, but why do you eat? Because until you identify the benefits you get from eating, it's going to be really hard for you to actually change your habits. For most people that I work with, the benefits of eating are that you feel better. There's a relief. You might notice some sort of excitement as you plan out the foods you're about to eat. It's a way you find headspace. It's a way you clear your mind. You're stressed out, you're anxious, food gives you a break, and it actually feels good. So if you like this video or this podcast episode, if you're listening on the podcast, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, like it, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Now, there's another link down below which also talks about stress eating. I love this topic. It brings me so much joy because I love talking about mindset and actionable steps you can take that are actually going to help you solve your problem. Because if you're trying to find some perfect food to eat when you're stressed, like I know a lot of health trainers and coaches, they'll say, okay, well, you need to eat something that's filling, or you need to eat something has protein so you stay full, or there's oftentimes kind of this like fullness. If you're stressed, you need to eat something that'll sustain you so you don't get hungry again. But that misses the point entirely. That's giving you a specific food to focus on, but it's not dealing with the underlying core of why you're stress eating and how to eat. So I think we covered why you stress eat. There's two aspects of that, just to recap. Understand what's stressing you out. And then number two, what benefits do you gain from stress eating? And when you can see the benefits, the pros and cons in a realistic way, when you say, oh, I do actually benefit by stress eating, there are benefits to this, then you're more able to then say, well, here are some downsides as well. When you are able to look at the pros and cons, it gives your mind a balanced perspective and allows you to make wise choices. And if you can make wise choices, you're going to feel less of a pull to stress eat. Now let's go to the point number two, how. So remember, we are allowing ourselves to eat anything because when we allow ourselves to temporarily eat anything, then we can learn about our real motivation, stress, and why we get stressed and the benefits. But also, When we allow ourselves to eat anything, it gives us ourselves permission to focus on how we eat. Because have you ever had your phone and you're just texting while you eat, or you're watching a video while you eat? That's called distracted eating. And studies have shown that distracted eaters, they don't register their fullness, so they will keep eating. Distracted eaters, they also don't report feeling that much better after a meal. They might eat a lot of food, but because they weren't present, they were disconnected, they actually didn't enjoy their food, meaning they still have emotional hunger, even though their belly is full, and they keep eating to fill that emotional hunger. So how you eat, the goal of how to eat is to make you feel good. So if you are present, if you make your food, if you cook your food, if you sit there with your food and eat it, and notice all the different textures and flavors, and you are, savoring the food. And this doesn't have to be something that takes a long time. I know some people say, so this is going to take like a half hour, right? No. Don't make it too much of a burden. Just put the phone down for a few minutes. Check in with your body. Notice, if you are stressed, notice your breathing. Take a few deep breaths. Remember that food is your gateway to the present moment. When you connect to the different flavors and texture of the food, it brings you into the present moment. And about at least 50% of our stress is just our mental projections of us comparing how bad we are to some unachievable standard. Our stress comes from projecting into the future, all the bad scenarios that might happen. But at least 50% of stress is purely in your head based on a future scenario or some sort of comparison. There's nothing actually stressful in this present moment. So food, understanding this mentality, how you eat, is so important. At least one meal a day. You really got to get grounded, take some deep breaths, and allow yourself to feel stress, allow yourself to tune into your body and breathe. Use that meal to ground you. Now, as you uncover through this process, at first, you're going to give yourself permission to eat anything. And then you start studying the stress and the benefits you get out of stress eating. And then you really bring a presence of mind to your eating when you're stressed, so that your eating actually calms you down. Okay, your eating needs to calm you down. That makes sense? Now, if you're able to do this, you're going to see a lot of benefits in terms of reducing your stress eating. Go ahead and like the video. If you do enjoy my content, please go to weightlossenlightenment.com. I have an intuitive eating guide which talks about mindsets and practical steps you can do to reduce stress eating. All right, have a good one. Peace.